Have you ever scrolled through your social media feed and noticed someone who's always active, always commenting on people's updates, always present, but never shows their face? They share articles, reply to posts, celebrate others' achievements, but their own profile picture might be a sunset, a pet, or a blank silhouette. While the rest of the world seems to be documenting every moment, these people remain intentionally invisible. We often assume that people who don't post their photos on social media platforms are either insecure or hiding from the internet. But the psychology behind this behavior is far more complex and in many cases surprisingly healthy, and something you might never think is the reason. In this video, we will explore the psychology of people who don't post their photos on social media platforms and explain why some people choose to stay off camera and what it reveals about their inner world. Before we dig deep into this, let me ask you this straight. How often do you post photos on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and even your WhatsApp status? Leave a comment below as we explore various reasons why people aren't posting their photos on social media platforms. Number 1. They have a more internal locus of validation. People who don't post their photos on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, etc., often don't need external affirmation to feel good about themselves. In psychology, this relates to the concept of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Those who post frequently on social media may be drawing their sense of worth from likes, comments, and reactions. In that sense, they require external sources of validation. But those who abstain have often developed a stronger internal compass. They know who they are without needing others to confirm it. This doesn't mean they're immune to insecurity, but it does mean they've cultivated a sense of self that isn't constantly being measured by public approval. Their self-esteem is less fragile because it's not being tested every time they open any social media app. Number 2, they value privacy as a form of psychological safety. For some people, not posting photos on social media platforms is a protective boundary. In a world where personal information is currency, withholding your image is a way of maintaining control. This connects to the psychological concept of boundary setting, which is essential for mental health. When you share your face, your location, your life online, you're inviting commentary, judgment, and surveillance, even if it's subtle. People who avoid posting photos often have a heightened awareness of this dynamic. They're not paranoid, they're just conscious of the fact that visibility comes with a cost. They prefer to manage who has access to them, and they protect their sense of self by limiting exposure. Number 3, they experience lower levels of social comparison. Social comparison theory suggests that we determine our own worth by comparing ourselves to others. Social media amplifies this process. Every photo becomes a point of comparison: your face, your body, your lifestyle, your perceived happiness. People who don't post photos often opt out of this exhausting cycle. They recognize, either consciously or unconsciously, that the comparison game is rigged. By not participating, they protect their mental health. They're less likely to feel inadequate because they're not constantly measuring themselves against curated versions of other people's lives. This doesn't mean they never compare themselves to others, but they've reduced one major source of unnecessary stress.
Number 4, they have a different relationship with identity. Some people don't post photos on social media because they don't want to be reduced to an image. They understand that a photo is a snapshot, a fragment, and often a performance. Psychologically, this reflects a more nuanced understanding of identity as fluid and multifaceted. They may feel that posting a single image or even multiple images can't capture who they really are. There's a discomfort with being frozen in a moment, labeled and perceived based on appearance alone. These individuals often prioritize depth over surface, and they'd rather be known for what they say, create, or contribute than for how they look. It's not about shame, it's about wanting to be seen in a fuller, more authentic way. Number 5, they're more comfortable with anonymity and autonomy. Anonymity isn't just about hiding. For many, it's about freedom. When you're not tied to your image, you can express yourself more openly. You can share ideas, ask questions, or explore interests without worrying about how it reflects on your public persona. This is related to the concept of the online disinhibition effect, where people feel more liberated to be themselves when they're not being watched. People who avoid posting photos on Facebook or Instagram may cherish this sense of autonomy. They don't want their face to become their brand. They want the freedom to evolve, change their mind, and exist without the pressure of maintaining a visual identity that others have come to expect. It's not about shame, it's about wanting to be seen in a fuller, more authentic way. Number 6. They're less susceptible to performative behavior. Social media encourages performance. We stage photos, adjust lighting, choose angles, and craft captions. It's all part of the game. But people who don't post their photos often reject this performance. They're not interested in curating a highlight reel. Psychologically, this can indicate a healthier relationship with authenticity. They're less concerned with how they're perceived and more focused on how they actually feel. This doesn't mean they're more genuine than everyone else, but it does suggest they've opted out of the performative pressure that dominates digital spaces. They're not performing for an audience because visually they've chosen not to have one. Number 7. They may have experienced past discomfort with attention. For some, the decision not to post or share photos online is rooted in earlier experiences with unwanted attention, criticism, or objectification. This could stem from childhood, adolescence, or even recent interactions online. When attention feels unsafe or invasive, withdrawal becomes a coping mechanism. In psychological terms, this is a form of avoidance behavior. Not necessarily unhealthy, but protective. These individuals may have learned that visibility brings risk, whether it's judgment, harassment, or simply the discomfort of being looked at. By not posting photos, they reclaim control over who gets to see them and how they're perceived. It's a way of setting terms on their own presence.
Number 8. They prioritize substance over appearance. Finally, many people who don't post photos simply care more about ideas, conversations, and contributions than they do about aesthetics. This reflects a value system where appearance takes a back seat to content. They engage with social media as a space for dialogue, learning, or connection, not as a platform for self-promotion. Psychologically, this can indicate a stronger sense of purpose and a clearer understanding of what matters to them. They're not trying to be invisible, they're just choosing to be visible in a different way. Their presence is felt through words, actions, and engagement, not through images. So, what does all of this tell us? People who don't post their photos on social media aren't necessarily insecure, not social, or hiding. In many cases, they're protecting their mental health, honoring their values, and resisting the pressure to perform. They've made a conscious or unconscious choice to engage with the world on their own terms, and there's a quiet strength in that. If you found this insight valuable, consider how you engage with social media and what it says about your own psychological needs. And if you're interested in more content like this, exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday behavior, subscribe and join a community that values depth over surface.